Lobs are so hot right now that I had to make 2 videos about them, not just one. The first video, I show you how to style them, and in today's video with Diana, I'm gonna show you how you can put those extensions back in them when you wanna feel like you have long hair again. So let's get started. Diana's hair has been flat iron curled already. The troubling part about trying to make your extension blend is this line right here. Because the lob has a very heavy outline, it can be hard to include your extension without it showing. I've got Diana's extensions in with a regular application. The problem with this is you can see the strong line that the lob leaves. Worn in the back, the hair sort of just looks like random tendrils, and then even because they're placed a little high at the top, you might run into chances of actually seeing your extension when you're out and about. The challenge in the front is, if any of your lob pieces come out from the back, all of a sudden your telltale sign is right there. Now that you've seen the don't, I'm gonna show you the how. My first tip is to make sure that you have the hair curled the same way that you're gonna curl your extension. So with Diana here, we have all of her hair being curled back and away from the face. Diana and I are gonna work together in order to curl this hair properly. So what we've done here is we've established that this is the short piece, and it's gonna be the piece that's gonna be sitting in on this side of Diana's hairstyle. So I want to flip the extension around so that I know that I need to work with this hair going backward. Sometimes if you have it facing forward, it can be more confusing to know what you're gonna do with it. And just as I was doing before, or how I've shown in other videos how to flat iron curl, I'm gonna come in on a diagonal and I'm gonna curl that hair away from me. And it is nice to get a friend to help you hold. Otherwise, I've seen some people place the weft in a drawer and then close the drawer in order to be able to flat iron, because you are going to be using a little bit of tension. And if the flat iron makes it too curly, you can always sort of pinch it, or you don't get enough curl. You want to make sure you like the look of your extension before you put them in. I'm going to comb this through just so that it'll match how Diana's hair looks right now, and it's ready to go. The second tip I have is to remove some of the hair from the outline. You don't want to use your scissors because you want your hair to still look cute after you've worn your extensions. So on Diana here, I'm going to zigzag with my fingertips the top of the hair and get that out of the way. Why I'm zigzagging is it's going to blend the amount of hair that's going to be covered by the extension. And these sections don't have to be perfect, but more or less, you want to make sure that it's just really sitting in the nape of the hair. You're going to section everything but this little piece in the nape. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to cornrow or braid this hair down and flat to the head. It's also going to give me something to clip into, but mostly what it'll do is it'll eliminate some of the weight from that perimeter of the haircut. So now that I've finished my braid, if you aren't able to cornrow hair, you can always just take one single strand braid, and you're gonna do the same thing that I'm doing right now. So I'm just gonna tie that off with an elastic. And I've chosen one that's the same color as Diana's hair, but it's not necessary because you're not gonna see it. And then I'm just gonna loop the braid back onto itself and get it out of the way. And I'm using these really tiny little bobby pins. So you don't want to have too much bulk in here, but you do want to have security that your braid isn't going to come undone. Now that we've got that braided and out of the way, I'm going to add the extensions. And your extension method is really the same. So you're going to apply to the center and then to the outside. And with this one, because you have the braid, you have even extra security. And then I'm going to continue in the same manner up the head. So I like to just, again, use my finger. And I'm not necessarily taking, perfect sections, but I do want to make sure they're even from side to side so that way it'll stay blended. And what I can do is make sure that I braided enough hair out of the way that this line here becomes diffused. Already with 2 pieces in, you can see how much more blended this look has already created. I've added all the extension into the back. The rest is going to drop down. And because Diana in a lob, there is a little bit of layer, so that's blending through really nicely. And now for the side. So in order to have the side blend, you can see that with the extension, we have curled them. And they've also been cut so that it'll work a little bit shorter in the front to longer in the back. The other way that if you have some that are horizontal at the bottom, they haven't been cut in this manner, what you can do is you can apply them on a diagonal, and that'll extend the line of what we've done. So I'm gonna come in with the same sort of diagonal section that's zigzagged, and I'm going to apply with about an inch away from the front hairline. Because if I'm too close to the hairline, again, you're gonna see where this clip is. And also, Diana has a Lob Plus ombre, so if this is taken too far forward, it's gonna look too bright and her hair color won't match. So just dropping down that top piece, you can see how we have a nice blend from side to side. And the extension was curled back and away, just like her hair was curled back and away. So I'm gonna make sure that I've got the extension sitting at the same place on this side that I did on the first, and then popping in my extension again on that diagonal so that it'll blend in to what's happening at the bottom. My final tips are for you to make sure that your texture is the same. So if you need to, you can go in with your flat iron and just re-curl any areas that may have lost some of their curl or look too curly compared to the rest of it. The other thing that you can do is you can go in and say you feel like you might see sort of the top of where your extension is. You can always back comb a little bit above it so that way it offers you a little bit of padding. So in case there is any separation, it'll cover and you won't see where your extension is.